Rugby League is back.
Drum roll, please.
You're a true Warriors fan.
I have no recollection of that hot take.
We don't all have to agree.
It's good to be back.
It's just a really boring team.
Oh, partner.
Start winning some games.
I think there'll be a lot of changes to the team.
I've got them making the 8 for mine.
Let's go. Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Advantage Line, TAB's Rugby League betting podcast. My name is Carl Tiley, joined in studio by my good mate, Paul Mawate. Paul, how was your week?
Oh, it was fantastic, thank you. Punting-wise, not so good, but how good was the footy over the weekend? I guess it means we're just getting ever closer to the pinnacle of the NRL season. So I'm still thinking about the Eagles and the Falcons yesterday, but we are getting ever closer to the pinnacle of the season, which sort of makes me sad because it means we're getting to the end of the season and we're going to have to wait a few months before we start again. But I thought all 4 games were very, very good. I enjoyed the footy and the results are okay, I thought.
Look, I'm going to front foot this, and Teddy will come off the top ropes, no doubt. He's waiting in the wings. I took the approach of a Gen Zer this weekend when it comes to watching rugby league. And by that I mean I didn't watch it, and I just watched the highlights package. Don't look at me like that, Teddy.
Wow.
I was on holiday, and I was drinking beers and playing golf.
In the snow.
So I'm just front-footing it, and welcome in, Teddy.
Gee, I thought I was upset beforehand. Having just endured one of the great injustices throughout the history of time and the history of probably not only Earth, but every other planet, universe, or galaxy that exists. And then I hear the host of a rugby league podcast, who was on quote-unquote holiday, didn't watch rugby league. I'll tell you what, quote-unquote holiday for me is watching more rugby league, which I'm not sure is possible. I'm going to have to start scheduling a few more games. But that's not a holiday. That's prison.
Look, man, I don't know what to tell you. Okay.
There's a whole time to play golf in the afternoons on weekends. It's called October through to February, and then we just move on to morning golf, midweek golf. We don't need to be playing golf on September weekends. It's finals football. I know the Warriors are not that accustomed to it, but finals football, come on.
Oh, he's opened the door.
Don't start that because the Dogs and the Warriors season exactly the same.
Well, you know what? I don't disagree with you there, Carl, and they'll be exactly the same for teams 2 through 17. Failure, absolute failure. The big difference is one of us got completely robbed and suffered an injustice, probably akin to Nelson Mandela's imprisonment.
You want to talk about Rob? Let's replay every single Warriors game of the season.
Well, whatever you cop was nothing to the injustice that Canterbury copped on the weekend. It was one of the great stitch-ups of all time.
Well, look, I watched the highlights. And
you've got nothing to say. Did you watch the NRL highlights? The NRL highlights, which would have cut out all of the controversy, no doubt.
Yeah. This is fantastic.
Look, I just wanted to front foot this. Okay? I'm being a responsible host. I could have bluffed my way through this, and no one would have known. I'm sure I would have pulled off one of the great lies, frauds, whatever. But I'm not that type.
Whatever lie or fraud you would have perpetuated would have been nothing compared to Graham Anderson on Monday afternoon when you come out and said, "What a great weekend of football."
Well,
I'll tell you what.
Half of the course.
I'll tell you what. The Saddam Hussein's regime and their press relations officer would have been ashamed at the whitewash job that was done there.
Where did we go?
Okay, we tiptoe the line every week.
No,
we might have crossed it.
We've set the tone. Here we go.
Let's betting recap from last week before we look at our stuff, how we went. I've got some details here of how the punters went. Paul. Panthers Roosters. Brian To'o, first try. Great result for the punters. Bad result for us. Panthers winning, on the other hand. Good result for the TAB. Bad
really?
Exactly. What a surprise. That's crazy.
Storm Sharks, Munster, first try scorer.
Great.
Good result for the TAB. Jerome Hughes or Britton Nakota to score a try was boosted from $1.98 to $2.40. That came in. Not a good result for us.
Came in both ways, isn't it?
No. Did it?
Hughes
No.
not-
No,
Huh?
Hughes didn't score.
No, Hughes didn't score.
No, Nakora, yeah.
Set a few up from what I saw.
It's a lot. In the 4 minutes you watched of it.
4 minutes 42, I think. Cowboys Knights. Good result for us with the Cowboys winning. Someone's calling me. That's not professional either.
Annesley? No.
It's
No,
not.
I'm going to say, there's the comments about the fourth least most egregious thing on this podcast so far.
Teddy's about to blow me up in another form. Cowboys winning, good result for us. There was strong support from the Knights. Felt first try scorer though.
Oh,
Big result for the punters there.
Oh, and what a try it was too.
Yeah.
95-metre intercept when Newcastle were about to cross.
yes.
Yep, saw that. Bulldogs, Sea Eagles, Manly winning. Not good for us. Not good for Ted either. And how's this for a power play that came in? Jacob Craz, first try scorer. Stephen Crichton, anytime try scorer at $33.
Woo-hoo.
Stand up punters.
There were a couple of horrid beats before we get to our results as well, if you were betting. The maybe the worst beat of the season / the greatest win of the season was the over-under in the Storm Sharks game. The line was 46.5. Storm scored twice in the last 8 minutes and went to 46 points. And then Ryan Pappenhausen took a completely meaningless field goal and lobbed it to go to 47. So if you're on the under, that is completely filthy. If you're on the over, hello. And I'm sure like with many on the Knights, plus 9.5, and they'd held on and they were going to win the game with 10 to go, and Dane Gagai dropped it. And then in the last play of the game, Tom Dearden crosses over. And I think if there's one player you want not to have the ball when you've got plus 9.5 and the other team's up by 6, and there's 5 minutes out for us, Tom Dearden. Most people just go to ground. Tom Dearden's fighting and scrapping and stuff. It's like, I would never say I could see into the future, but I reckon I saw about 8 seconds of the future as soon as that ball went to Tom Dearden, because I could see him celebrating before he broke the tackle.
I'm guessing you were on the plus and you're on the over?
No, I was plus and under, so I caught both of them.
Oh, no.
I was lucky with the under, though, kind of. I was such a bad bettor on the weekend. I took under 45.5 before it moved to 46.5, so the field goal didn't hurt me. I was killed by the last try. At least I didn't have to endure that heartache.
Oh, this, I love it. This is a weekend of all time for Teddy.
Yeah.
It'll go down in history.
Well, lucky I'm not in prison right now, just quietly.
Stop. How did we go, Paul?
All right. Here we are. So, starting with me, I had one bet. Brian To'o to score a try. Jacob Carraz to score a try. Why don't I just take them both to score the first try? Coates to score a try. Holmes to score a try. No good. Bang, gone. Two bets for Teddy. Penrith minus 7.5. Lovely. Sharks plus 10.5.
Thanks, Will Kennedy.
Knights plus 7.5. No good. And then you had Cleary, Turbo, and Dylan Lucas all to score a try. Well, Dylan did the job for you.
Dylan did the job. Turbo played like a cat, and Nathan Cleary just too busy setting them up.
Yes, exactly. Carl, 2 bets. Kyle Felt to score 2 tries. No.
I thought watching that highlights package I was in after.
And then he had a multi. Panthers head-to-head. Storm head-to-head. Cowboys minus 7.5. That was a winner. And he is just under $400 up for the season.
Yeah.
And our good friend Blake Ashford, 2 bets. He had Dom Young to score a try. Bronson Cherry to score a try. And then he had Coates to score a try and Storm to win, Falk to score a try and Cowboys to win. He wasn't that far away, but no good in the end. And then his other multi, Storm Sharks over 44.5. Penrith to win the first half. Boy, oh boy, did they ever. Cowboys to win and Dogs to win. Oh, no, sorry. No, Dogs to score over 21.5 points.
I got there.
He got there. So he's only down just under 550 for the year.
Good get. Well played, Blake. That was interesting / amazing bit.
This seems problematic. My internet's dropped out. I had the hard word from the boss man last week. He said, "Please, fellas, someone tip a winner." So, gotcha.
Well, don't look at me. I'm on a slide and I've spiraled out of control. I'm gone. But emotionally, gamblingly,
Blake,
the whole lot.
Blake and Cal, they helped us out last week.
Okay. Divided opinion. Quick one. Of the 4 teams playing this weekend, only one of these teams can go on to win the comp. Teddy.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's probably tenuous because I think only one team can win the comp. But yeah, I think the Roosters have the upside to do it, but Dan Sam Walker makes it obviously incredibly difficult. I don't think the Sharks have the gears to go through and win the Premiership. I think there's too many concerns around when Greg Alexander's calling for Nico Hines to be dropped after week 1 of the finals. Like, there's clearly some concerns with how the Sharks play. So I'm going to say, one at most, and that's probably lucky to be able to say one.
Paul?
Oh, I'm going to say Manly. I don't think any of the 4 teams going around this weekend can win the grand final, but out of those 4, I think Manly have the best chance of going through. I thought they dug in deep against the Bulldogs. This was a game where Tommy Turbo really didn't produce his best, and they were still able to get over the top. I'm sure we'll talk about this game a little bit later on in the podcast. But I like the sort of balance of their forward pack, and I think they match up well this weekend. Once again, with a Roosters team that is missing a few players and a few players in key positions. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Sea Eagles to be the best chance out of the 4 playing this weekend to go on and win.
In 1977, Manly rode Greg Hollywood Hartley through. Controversially refereed every finals game Manly played, and they won every finals game. So no doubt Manly will be hoping for Grant Atkins and Ashley Klein to be back on board this week to assist that for you, Paul.
Well, I think after their performance on the weekend, they thoroughly deserve another go, Atkins and Klein. No biting.
Oh, jeez. I think the winner, more the Roosters, but I think the winner of the Manly Roosters game has a better chance of winning than the other two. I still think the Sharks and the Cowboys stink, both of them. And yeah, we get to see them go head to head and someone knock each other out this weekend.
I just read the official Grant Atkins has got Manly against her. Well played, unbelievable. And Chris Butler's in the box, so it's not going to get any better. So,
G, has he got a game?
No, G has nothing. Not even a standby official. So,
Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. One way of putting it.
I feel like we've got Teddy at a real low point today.
Boy, oh boy.
No, if I'm low now, I'll be up in about 2 minutes. It's a very volatile situation.
Right, well, quick game of Would You Rather this week. We're bringing it back.
Okay.
I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got six players here. If you're building a team from scratch, who's the first person from this list that you're taking to build your team around. All of these players in their prime: Lockyer, Smith, Inglis, Thurston, Benji, Burgess.
That's the easiest question of all time. There's only one answer to this: Cameron Smith. Like he builds a culture, builds everything. He's a coach on the field. Cameron Smith is. He might not be the most brilliant player to ever played, but he's the greatest player to ever played. He's the most accomplished player to ever played. He won everywhere he went. Cameron Smith's the answer.
Did Cameron Smith have a prime?
His whole career?
Yeah, it lasted from 2004 to 2022 or whatever it was.
It's hard to argue with that, but I am going to. I'm going to go with JT. Well, he used to be with Teddy at the Bulldogs, and I think they probably would have gone on and won a premiership or two more if he had remained there.
Wasn't Canterbury's greatest hour, I'll tell you that. Big shout out to Brayton Astor and Brent Sherlin.
But I think the way that he dragged the Cowboys up and got them over the line, he's one of the... He did it with a team that didn't have a lot of stars, to be fair.
The knock on him, though, has to be that he was there for, 2005 to 2018, 19, whatever it was.
Only one
One premiership. Yeah. And, I know he's a great player. There's absolutely no doubt. And I love watching JT as a player, but they pretty much did build a club. We actually have seen a club built around one player, pretty much from scratch, because they came from nothing. And yeah, they have played in some grand finals, and arguably 2005 was his greatest performance, having taken that team from where they were to but yeah, one premiership for me was probably the knock on that.
I'm going to go Lockyer. He was kind of the Cam Smith before the Cam Smith in terms of that all-round player, coach on the field.
The Temu Cam Smith.
You can't do that to Lockyer. Wow. You could argue he had two primes, one at fullback and one at 5'8". Wow, the team.
He is.
Could have been worse. I could have called him the John Temu Cam Smith.
The disrespect.
He is hot under the collar.
Still waiting for that peak.
I'll tell you what, it's a scattergun approach today. Just stay out of the way of the bullets. Fun fact, I actually loved Darren Lockyer as a player. So.
Anyway, okay. Let's move on to the grid. I did you'll be pleased to know, Teddy, I did a Paul Moati today. I've come back from holiday. I'm scrambling to get ready for the podcast. I did the grid, and then as I finished, I figured out it was today's grid, not yesterday's grid.
Oh, no.
But I want to point out...
You got a red square?
I got a red square in today's grid, but it is incorrect.
So speak to me, what was it?
So if you're listening, stop now, because we're going to talk about the grid for Wednesday.
Well, we're only going to talk about an incorrect answer, Paul. So.
Wow,
yeah.
Is it?
So if you go to today's grid, Ted, the right-hand side column, less than 10 tries, and has played for the Cowboys.
Yeah. I
put in Jackson Purdue. He's played 9 games this year, and he's scored 2 tries.
How do you spell, is it with an X?
Yep. Gen Z guy there.
What gen am I? I feel like I'm an X.
Yeah.
Yes, you would be.
No, I'm not an X.
What are you?
I'm an X.
If he's an X, I'm not an X.
I'm a millennial. Is that right?
Did it say less than 10 games? He's played 10 games.
Less than 10 career tries.
Oh, but how many games?
Unlimited games. Just played for the Cowboys.
Oh, well, then Jackson Purdue is definitely correct.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's not the grid we're talking about.
No, we're talking about Tuesday, the 17th of September.
So, pause the pod if you haven't already. Go find the grid, do it, and compare your scores. Across the top, we've got played for Queensland, played for the Dogs, scored 100-plus points in a season, Down the left, Knights has played for 3+ clubs, and the Warriors.
FYI, will not be losing today. I'll bounce back strong after last week.
FYI, I will be losing today, and I do not have a red square.
He's correct.
And I've got 3 brains and a wizard, and I will lose.
Wow. Okay.
Well, when I finished this, I was 4th out of everyone. So, good year done, I guess, but
Here he
I'm
is.
confident.
We're on the up here.
Yes.
Oh, no, we'll come crashing down very soon. I know we've got some game reviews to do.
Well, let's get the happy vibes in first. Teddy, give us your top row.
Queensland, Newcastle, Robbie O'Davis, Wizard 2.03. Bulldogs, Knights, Port Rahihi, Brain 2.53. 100+ points in a season, Knights, Andrew Johns 7.09.
How is he? That is ridiculous. How is? Oh, I deliberately avoided him.
I know you would have. Because you haven't learned about the old and new. That's the way this works.
Jacob Lillyman 9.09. Paul Rohihi, Brain 2.53. Nick Meaney 10.3.
An immortal 7.09. Nick Meaney, the new Roger Tuivasa-Sheck 10.3.
Queensland Knights, Neville Costigan 4.29.
Oh, that's an excellent. Yeah, deserve more than that.
Less than that, you mean?
Less than that. Yeah, less than that.
Dogs Knights, Jack Hetherington 3.8. And 100 points in a season. I was a bit miffed about this. Dom Young 5.48.
Got lucky there.
Lucky.
Yeah.
We've had this one before.
We have had this
I
conversation.
knew it was an answer, but I was surprised it was that much.
Yeah.
Middle row.
Queensland 3+ clubs, 3+ clubs. Chris Walker played for 100 clubs. Brain 1.18. Bulldogs played for 3+ clubs. Shane Martini, very slow centre. Brain 0.29. And 100+ points in a season, 3+ clubs. Krishnan Inu, Brain 1.40. Also one of my least favourite players of all time.
Anthony Milford 3.57. David Clemmer 2.13. Kyle Flanagan, Brain 1.49.
Brent Tate 2.16. Nigel Vangana 1.06.
Oh, you are kidding.
You're $1 to have him there, sure.
I know, and I avoided. I thought, no, this is just going to be too popular.
Chris Ninu, Brain 1.40. One of Blake's most hated players too, I think.
Chris Ninu?
Yeah, after that try in 2011.
Yeah, debatable.
Bottom row.
Queensland Warriors, Dane Nielsen 5.90. Bulldogs Warriors, Robert Mears, Wizard 2.23. 100+ points in a season, Warriors, Michael Witt 3.10.
Nathan Feen 10.93. Robert Mears, Wizard 2.23. Tony Martin, Brain 2.88.
Tony Martin, nice.
Tony Martin could not kick a goal from 20 metres. That was his limit in distance.
I'll give you the tip. He kicked quite a few of them.
Tough to watch.
In fact, I think he kicked about 9 against the Bunnies when...
Was that when we won like 63-0 or
Yes,
something? 60
yeah.
something nil, yeah.
I don't even remember him playing for the Warriors.
Headgear.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I remember him playing for the Storm. But he played more seasons for the Warriors than the Storm. So, yeah.
Queensland Wars, I also had Dane Nielsen 5.90. Dogs, Warriors, I can't believe this is the forgotten man, or should be forgotten man. Jono Wright 4.58.
Should be forgotten, exactly. This is one thing Warriors fans and Dogs fans can agree upon. John O'Wright did not do a lot for our club.
And 100+ points, and the Warriors Wizard, Ivan Cleary, 2.22.
How is he less than Tony Martin? This is ridiculous. This is crazy.
We are in the second week of the finals, and Paul still has not figured out how this game works.
I knew Ivan Cleary was one of the options. I just went, no, he's going to it costs too much.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's great. All right, totals, Teddy.
25.7.
45.2.
30.9.
Ooh. We're really close to that.
Yeah.
30.9 when I finished up yesterday would have been good enough for 7th, so
Okay.
I did mine like 3 in the afternoon maybe, so wasn't the first thing.
I think I was sitting about 17th maybe.
Yeah, nice.
Something around there. Anyway. It's enough to beat Paul. That's the goal each week.
Well, you're not setting very high goals then, are you? Jeez.
All right, let's have a look at the games. Last week, Panthers absolutely gave it to the Roosters in the first half. Teddy, your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, it was a perfect first half, and it really just showed that Penrith can just flick the switch, and all the concerns about them kind of leading into that game can probably put aside. Clearly, just came back as if he never left. There's still a few little question marks around, Dylan Edwards and how they're all playing together, but those kind of fade in the background. Like they're impossible to beat when they're in front. Great front runners, the Panthers. And I don't think the Roosters even played particularly poorly to start the game. They were just blown off the park by a better team, and a team playing superior football. So they can bring an energy that no other team can bring, Penrith, and they are relentless with that. Those back three kind of making those meters early on, just letting the big fellas do the hitting through the middle, kind of late in sets. They they've built a role that no other team can do. So Penrith, all the concerns about them, they're a game away from their 5th grand final in a row, taking 4 premierships in a row. Incredible stuff. I lost no admiration for the Roosters last week. I thought they played very, very well. After the 60th minute, they won the game. 10-6, whatever it was. So didn't get a lot of calls go their way. I don't think it was as bad as Trent Robinson was kind of blowing up, but they dropped a lot of ball in the first half. I think that was probably the bigger concern. But I thought they handled not having Sam Walker there well, and not having Brandon Smith. Connor Watson's a better hooker than Brandon Smith, so in a much better spot there. So well done to the Panthers, but Roosters I think can absolutely fight back, and I think they can push the Storm to the preliminary final.
So can they take much out of, as you say, that second half, that last 20 minutes, like winning?
No, not for mine.
No?
Well, Teddy mentioned first of all, the Panthers, great front runners. I think if you look back to last year's grand final, there's a suggestion that they're bloody good coming from behind as well. That I agree with Teddy. That first half was near on perfect footy. He's right. The back three make so much easy. Well, they're not easy meters. They make them look like they're easy meters and save that forward pack, which gives the forward pack extra energy when they get towards the end of the game. Their defense, certainly in that first half, was just smothering. Roosters really, really. They did make a few errors, the Roosters, but I think a few of that was caused by the defense that the Panthers were putting on. They swarm around.
Yeah, they weren't unforced errors, were they? They were forced errors.
Yes. Yeah. So that was a brilliant, brilliant display by the Panthers. Look, the Roosters, I think they played well. If you look at the last 20 minutes or so, it's very easy for a team who's up by that much to just take the foot off the pedal, think forward to, let's just not pick up any injuries, let's get through the game. So I wasn't overly impressed by the Roosters in that last 20 minutes, but they'll be a lot better for that this weekend.
You think the Panthers could have done more if they wanted to?
Oh, if they wanted to, they could have put the foot down and really run away. But if you win by 30 points to 10 or win by 50 points to 10, it doesn't really matter. You're still going through to the next. You get the next weekend off, and you're through to the penultimate week of the finals.
Teddy, has there been another team, I guess Storm come to mind immediately, but that's had this sort of long-term sustained success. Like the fifth, staring at 5 grand finals in a row. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, look, the only other team that kind of comes to mind post that famous St George team of the 60s was the Storm, who did make 4 grand finals in a row. And yeah, that's been tainted now with the scandals and whatnot that went on with that. Lost the opportunity to make 5 in a row because they weren't in the comp in 2010. But then for them to come back in 2012 and again later in the decade, but it kind of gets mixed up as to it's the Bellamy era, but you kind of had a couple of different teams in that era. In terms of just winning and like dominating, it's hard to match this Panthers team. Even the Broncos teams of the mid '90s had their down years in the middle of that era. Like this is just it's relentless. Otherwise, they finished top 2 every year since 2020. They just marched through finals like for nothing. But it's incredible, and if they win a 4th grand final in a row, I'll be the first team to do so since that St George team. Even the South team that won 4 and 5 years over the 60s and 70s, they still lost one in between. So they're on the verge of history here. I kind of suspect this might be their last year. The other thing that needs to be factored in is this is the salary cap era.
Yes.
And you look with all the teams we talked about, the St George team, South, pre-salary cap era, Broncos, and the salary cap was not even close to being enforced. The Storm, well, turns out they were flagrantly cheating with salary caps. So unless something comes out about the Panthers, I don't think it will because it's just junior after junior coming through.
Yeah, well, yes. Look at the players they've lost. Stephen Crichton, Viliami Kiko, Matt Burton. These are all very, very good players.
Well, that's 3 internationals you just listed off. Yeah, as well as others. Like everyone forgets that back 3 or 4 years ago, they lost Kurt Capel. They're losing all these other players who have kind of come and gone. But next year, Fisher Harris, Luai, Taruva, kind of feel like we might have hit the tipping point next year. But not going to write them off just yet because you look at people like Liam Henry coming through and how they plug in with Luke Garner. Like they were a much better team with Luke Garner than Scott Sorensen. I think I thought he had a tremendous game on the weekend. But this is one of the history will remember this as we're not done yet, but on the verge of being the second greatest team of all time.
And with the second-rate half of Nathan Cleary.
Yeah. Barely a first grader.
There we go.
It would be quite poetic if it's the Storm that finished this run, given the Storm were the first team they played in the grand final 4 years ago. And then they knocked them off the year after, and then it'd be quite a, I don't know.
It would be poetic because I think I backed the Storm to win the last 3 premierships. I'm on the Panthers this year, so that would make perfect sense.
Oh, I can't wait. I want the Storm. I'm on the Storm. I'm
getting on as soon as this potty finishes. I'm getting on the Storm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Never going to death ride something so hard. Okay. Storm Sharks. The Storm, they sort of, from what I saw, I can't go all the way through this, but it was first half, bit of back and forth, and then Storm kicked on the second half. Am I wrong?
That could not be more incorrect. It was not back and forth.
Right from the kickoff.
They scored within 2 minutes.
The first kickoff, Martin Bella. Will Kennedy dropped the kickoff, went dead. Melbourne scored the ensuing set. Cronulla were very lucky that the score was as close as it was at half time. They got a try right on the buzzer when Trindle threw a magic ball and Decora. But the Storm dominated the first half, and they were so sapped of energy coming the second half that it was just one-way traffic on the second half. Like it was the Storm from the first kickoff to that final field goal, and they put 37 on. They dead set could have put 60 on.
Oh,
the score was back and forth.
When the kickoff, when Kennedy dropped the one person I was thinking of was Martin Bella. And
me too.
Second person was Nick Tedeschi.
I was 12 years old at the time of that kick. And I remember I always just saying I've never disliked a human being, like more in one moment, turns out Martin Villas are very unpopular. Terry Lamb has nothing nice to say about Martin Villas. So it turned out it was well directed. I didn't know this at the time. I was just like, how could you do this to us? It was just shocked, stunned. But Will Kennedy, it was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen a fullback do. Like, to be that out of position on the kickoff. Like, everyone knows you use the dead ball line to then come forward. Why he was standing up there and then trying to hop back to catch it was ridiculous. So Kennedy had a very poor game, and that loss, they probably would have lost anyway, but that loss should rest solely on Kennedy. And there's a lot of talk about dropping Nicker Hines, so I'm sure we'll talk about that when we get to that game this week. And I'm not suggesting they do this, but if they did do it, I'd be dropping Kennedy and putting Hines at fullback rather than dropping Hines completely.
Okay. Has any team? I'll be shocked if either of you knew this. What's the run for consecutive hat tricks from a team each week?
Who are we talking about here?
Willie Warbrick scored a hat trick a couple of weeks ago. Harry Grant got a second half hat trick. This game.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Harry Grant should have had 4 from what I saw.
Who?
Harry Grant.
Well, what one was disallowed that he didn't get?
Over the try line, disallowed, held up, or?
I don't remember.
You not see that? You're not paying attention, Teddy.
I was in too many tears having back the Sharks by that stage. So spit bile and tears for where we were at by that stage.
Maybe Gen Z are onto something here.
What's this Gen Z stuff?
Don't they watch? All they do is watch highlights and condensed packages.
I thought that was the one after. I thought it was Gen Alpha.
Whatever the young kids are now. What are they?
What are they?
They're Gen Alpha.
Are they? What is that? It shows how far I'm out of the loop.
Oh my God, you're old.
Do you know what? In the highlights of the next game we're going to talk about, the Cowboys Knights, I genuinely stopped. I can't remember who was commentating, but he said the veteran McLean, when he scored a try, and I thought, hang on, I don't feel like it was that long ago that McLean made his debut. Like, am I that old?
Yes.
Yes. Well, yeah. Remember, Jordan McLean was the one who tackled Alex McKinnon.
I know, yeah.
And not to bring up a very sad moment in rugby history, but that feels like a long time ago.
Yeah. And
Jordan McLean was there, so yeah, he's a veteran.
2016? 2015?
It was before that.
10 years ago?
Gen Alpha is 2010 to 2025.
Yeah, that's the kids.
Well, I was more talking like the 20-something year olds.
Well, what's the one before that? Gen Z?
Yeah.
And what's that? That's what I'm part of.
You're not Gen Z. You're kidding yourself.
2014. Michigan.
Gen Z 97 to 2012.
Just missed, Teddy.
Just missed.
I'm going down a dark hole here. Let's not
wrap up Gen.
Aren't you part of the greatest generation, Paul?
Yeah, Gen X.
No, the greatest generation. You know what the greatest generation was?
Oh.
Yeah, there's actually a generation called the greatest generation.
Greatest.
Gen X, Gen Y. 1900s to the 1920s.
Oh, just missed.
1901 to 1927. I thought you were snuck in there.
Oh, Benjamin Button over here. Cowboys Knights, as you said earlier, the Cowboys got away with it. Tom Dearden breaks some hearts.
Oh,
in the dying minutes.
Oh, that ruined my multi. 3-game multi. Panthers 13 and over, Storm 13 and over, Cowboys 13 and over.
That try didn't really ruin it for you, then, did it?
Well, the result ruined it.
Got you closer.
Well, it sounded like you were cooked anyway. It sounded like it got you closer.
Well,
it did get me closer. It didn't get me over the line.
For my Newcastle should have won that game. They were entitled to win that game. And yes, Ponga should have gone on the inside to gamble, but Dane Gagai should have caught that ball. Yeah. Dane Gagai is a complete liability. I have no idea while they continue to pay him lots of money. Like, he cost Queensland the Origin series by missing that. He shouldn't have been in the team. He's missed more tackles than any other centre per game this year other than Brian Kelly. Like, he's supposed to be a decorated. But I can't make tackles and can't catch a ball. I'm not really sure what he's doing on the team. But that they could have sent Newcastle into it and just sort of be glossed over. Like, it was an egregious error and completely turned the game 16-all at that point. They go down and score a try, the Cowboys, and then obviously cross at the end for the cover. But Newcastle were never a chance after that. It was such poor play. And Ponga was brilliant. Yes, he made a slight error there, but that pass should have been caught every day of the week.
Anything to add there, Paul?
Just that the Cowboys won't be going any further than this week.
Yeah, I thought the Cowboys were. The problem with the Cowboys is they've got such a high variance in how they play. They can play sensationally and they can play down to their opposition. But finals football doesn't really lend itself to the flat track Cowboys showing their best. And, I think they'll get found out big time this weekend.
All right, we'll get to that in a minute. Before that, though, Dogs 22, Manly 24.
What a game. Great game. Great game. Just a fantastic game of footy. Back, forth, sort of parry, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed the highlights. Teddy?
It was one of the biggest disgraces that I've ever had the misfortune of witnessing. It has been a sensation from Canterbury. We'll get on to what Canterbury did wrong first before we get on to the officiating. It certainly cost the Bulldogs a win and probably a premiership. It was a fantastic season. And no matter which way it gets cut up, and how disappointing the final 3 weeks were, few people expected Canterbury to perform as well as they did this year or show the improvement they did this year. So, huge credit to the coaching staff at the Bulldogs and a lot of the players who certainly lifted, and Stephen Crichton in particular, who's driven new standards there. So, big year for the Bulldogs. Where the Bulldogs lost on their own, Jamin Salmon, talked about many times, 1 and 5 as a starting lock.
1 and 6 now.
Yeah, missed the key tackle on Tom Trbojevic that led to the Collins try. I've never seen a worse attempt at a tackle in first grade in my life. It was pathetic. And part of it's his fault and part of it's the coaching staff fault. Like, he shouldn't have been there. He played 54 minutes. Josh Curran played 37. Josh Curran's an 80-minute player who had a gun season. So I have no idea. And he spent most of the middle. I have no idea why he wouldn't have been playing. So I thought that was really poor. Reid Marnie, I'm off Reid Marnie. Like, I've loved his deal. He's always been one of those guys that I'm sure everyone else hates him. But if you, like, a bit like Michael Ennis, I hated Ennis before he came to the Dogs. I hate him afterwards, but Joe liked him at the Dogs. But I like the Neil. But one thing Ennis did when he was at the Dogs that frustrated me, and Marnie does the same thing. He just overplays his hand. Like, that kick that led to a 7-tackle set was just diabolical. Like, you're a hooker. Kicking's not your go. Give it to someone who can. We've got a lot of good kickers on the team. It was very, very poor. But take all that. That's just rugby league. Some of the egregious stitch-ups that will haunt me forever and should haunt the NRL, because I will not let Graham Annesley ever live this down, or Ashley Klein, or Grant Atkins, till my last breath. That try from Ethan Bullimore. Hey, I'll ask you a question, Paul. How many times has there been a bobble in the contest where they've gone back and gone, no, that's fine, and just awarded the try? That is awarded a knock-on every time, no?
Pretty much.
Yes. Yeah. Not to the fact, and this shouldn't happen, but the 4-metre forward pass that was then thrown afterwards should have been called. Wasn't called. I'm happy to accept in the run of play things not being called. Like, it should have been, but it wasn't. Bunker often, when there's been an egregious error that they can't rule on, like a forward pass, they then go and look for something else to disallow the try, which they should have done then because it was clearly a forward pass. Arguably just as bad was Matt Burton's chip over the top. And something Keon Kolomatani got sent in for 2 weeks ago. Oh, sorry, week before. Josh Aloiai stepped across, ran into his line, knocked him over, Should have either been a sin bin or a penalty try. There were too many players in front of it. Not penalty try, but a sin bin. It was professional foul to stop him going. It wasn't even awarded a penalty. That was disgraceful. And then we go to the set play, which was a pretty schmick set play, which everyone was just lollygagging about, thinking this is the greatest play in history. Well, you know what? It wasn't, because it was Jacob Preston was instructed. And I would be happy for that try to be awarded every week. If that try is going to be awarded every week, that should be awarded every week, because that was good to watch. And I do like seeing set plays like that. Last week, Trey Fuller was disallowed a try when a player coming across, who probably wasn't going to get to him, was hit by a man running the outside angle. Well, Tolu Kohler just barreled into Jacob Preston and wasn't given, and it wasn't even looked at. It was confirmed straight away. Ashley Klein, that was absolutely disgraceful. But there are people who could go rugby league's fixed. They are too incompetent to fix a game. They are way too incompetent to fix a game. That is structural errors from having different people in the bunker all the time, and it is Ashley Klein trying to seem like he's smarter than everyone else. Well done, Ashley Klein. You stitched the Bulldogs up completely. Fairy tale ended. Bang.
Yeah, well, I think Ashley Klein is the best advertisement to get fat blokes in the bunker.
Absolutely.
We should start a campaign next year. Fat blokes for the bunker.
Fat blokes in the bunker.
Yeah. Make the bunker great again.
They could put me in the bunker as a fat bloke, and I could have all the normal bets that I normally have, and I would still be more accurate, even with bias, knowing that decisions have to be awarded within the kind of balance. So you're only kind of really moving the genuine 50-50s against you. You would still get more correct decisions. That's a fact.
I thought the forward pass was maybe a line ball.
What line? A 45-degree line?
It was the same as Reece Walsh forward pass against the Warriors last year, which we still haven't forgotten about. So
no,
it was the same as Sam Darnold's 97-yard touchdown pass to Jefferson.
I listening to Ted just now. It's like that must be what it's like on the other side.
Same. Like
when we go on these rants every week for the Warriors.
Yeah.
I feel for you, Ted. I feel for you.
Oh, so frustrated. So annoyed by that. Because if you had given me at the start of the year, you're going to make the finals and lose week 1, I would have taken the second. But to get stitched up like
that, the thing towards the end of the game, I thought Canterbury's execution of setting up Burton
the panic.
The field goal was
abhorrent.
Only one person you want taking it, and you know where he's going to be. And who passed it to Kiko? Someone passed it.
Our man Reid.
There was, and you had 2 goes at it in the last. What was it?
I can't believe we got 2 goes.
You got 2 goes,
and the second one we shouldn't have even got to. But that first one where the ball bounced to him,
yes,
the blame to me lies solely one on Burton, because Burton was out of position for it. So they weren't even setting up for it. It didn't even look like they were setting up for it. But 2, Reid Marnie, it was just a shocking pass. And I think it's Reid. I apologise if it wasn't Reid, and I'll take this dislike to someone else for doing it. But he should have been there. That set should have been way more orchestrated than it was. Because Burton's got a great kick on him.
Yes.
And he didn't strike either of them well.
He hit that second one terribly, and it almost went over.
Yeah. So it was that Canterbury have themselves to blame for a bit of it, and I don't know. Next year could go either way. I think the numbers are going to suggest Canterbury are going to regress badly next year. But looking at them on face value, they should be an improving team. They look like they're a team who built a core around. So hopefully, but yeah, very very disappointing.
All right, let's have a look at this week. First game, Sharks $1.60, Cowboys $2.35. The Sharks are 4.5 point favourites. The total was 45.5. No surprise in the team lists. Jesse Ramian looking like he might come back for the Sharks. Had a look at the head-to-heads. Where are we? Sharks have dominated in recent history. They've won 7 of the last 10, 14 of the last 20, 18 of the last 30. And then they've played 5 times in the last 12 years in the finals. Cowboys holding a 3-2 record. Teddy, what stats have you got for the punters here?
Well, just a key stat for mine, that kind of goes across both games. It's the week 2 matchup. The top 4 team that lost in round 1 in the finals against the bottom 4 team that won. And you want to be on the top 4 team going backwards. It gets the home ground advantage. Since 2000, over the last decade, take away the 2020 COVID year, which was very, very strange. The top 4 team that lost is 15-3.
Wow.
The week after. Because
head to head or at the line?
That's head to head. But we have seen only 5 of those wins were 1-score games. So 10 of those were 7 or more. 6 of those wins were by 20 plus. So and just go back in recent years. Last year, Storm 18, Roosters 13, Warriors 40, Newcastle 12. Year before, Eels 40, Raiders 4. We saw Manly win 42-6 over the Roosters in 2021, so I've seen a bit of some flogging lately. So my natural inclination going this week will be to back the Sharks and the Roosters, and that is what I'll be doing. Yep, you nailed the head-to-head there. 1-6 of the last 7 in Sydney, the Sharks. 3 of the last 4 in Sydney by 36 plus. Sharks over the Cowboys. They've scored 26 plus in 9 last 10, and here's a number for you. The last 19 clashes head-to-head. Sharks 15, they've covered 15, Cowboys 4. So 4 plus favourites off a loss of 20 or more over the last 4 years, cover at 60%. So that's a nice little spot for nice little Sharks bounce back spot here. 37-20 against the spread against teams 5th or worse. They've covered 7 of 10 off scoring 10 or fewer. So Cowboys covered their last 5 interstate, but they are 7-15 against the spread against top 4 teams. So I'll be backing the Sharks minus here, but arguably a better bet. I love the over in this game. I've seen some big scoring semi-finals over the last few years. 4 of the last 5 have been 52, 44, 50, 48. Like that. This is not a week for those kind of finals you expect, those 4-0, 10-8, all those ones. The over is hitting 4 of the last 5 between those two. Last 5 have hit 44 at least. The over is 9-2 and the Sharks have a loss of 20 or more. And it is 30-15 when the Cowboys are off a win. 15-10 when they're off conceding 16 or fewer. So, very keen over here. And we're back in the minus as well.
Okay. Before I throw to you, Paul, a couple more to just kind of back Teddy's stats up as well. So the average margin in the last 10 between these two is 18.5. I think you mentioned, so there's been 3 single-digit margins in the last 10. Otherwise, there's 2 38-point wins, a 36-point win, and a 20-point win, all to the Sharks. 3 of those at Shark Park.
Yeah, there's far more upside to them too. The big worry with the Sharks is this is remarkably the 6th time these two have played in a final since 2013. No other teams, I don't think, have played more finals together in that period of time. And the Cowboys have got a distinct edge. They've won 3 of the last 4. And I would hazard a guess and say that all 3 were upsets. At least 2 of them were. At least the 2022 and 2017 one were big upsets. So that's the worry for the Sharks. And Cronulla, they won 1 of their last 10 finals. So, big concern. But still.
I'm with Teddy the whole way here. I'm going big on the points. I'm going big on Cronulla. I'm going to set up a little same-game multi with a number of Cronulla try scorers. This looks like one-way traffic for mine. I just cannot see anything other than that happening. I love Atkinson on the bench. I think Kale Edel has been one of the best centres this season. I've really been impressed with his play. And I think I don't think he's going to drop Kennedy.
No, I don't think he should either. I'll just
No, I think he sticks with what he's got there. If I look back on the whole season, I don't know. I don't know if Nico has been handled as best he could have been. He's a unlike Teddy and myself, extroverts. He seems very much a very quiet, sensitive, and you've got to handle them slightly differently. And I don't know if he's been handled the best by the Sharks in regards to that. But
by the Sharks or the Blues,
exactly. But I do expect the Sharks to be just way too good for the Cowboys here.
Well, one change I would have been looking at, and I know Rami has been on the bench, so Rami might well play. But I'd play Atkinson ahead of Talakai.
Yeah.
Oh, no way. Atkinson's been fantastic. And Talakai has proven the last 2 weeks to be a defensive liability. Very flat-footed. So I'll be looking at that. But I expect Rami to play.
Jesse will be in there in the centres, yeah. I'm fairly sure.
Alrighty. Well, you mentioned try scorers. They've got a few in form. Both teams, actually. Felt 8 tries in like 5
There's
games.
no one hotter than Kyle Phil right now. He's got 16 tries in his last 12 games.
It's pretty impressive. Molitalo, 7 in his last 5. Taulagi, 4 in his last 3. Katoa, 2 in his last 2. And Britton Nakora, 5 in his last 5.
Yeah, he's flying, Nakora. And I don't think any back rower runs better lines than he does. And he's just been an absolute trust going to fill up. And all those guys you mentioned, you're getting around $1.80, $2. You're getting north of $3 nearly every week, Britton Nakora.
Yeah.
$4.25 last week to score.
Wow, all right, the next game, Roosters $1.62, Seagulls $2.35. The Roosters 2.5-point favourites. The total is 46.5. This matchup has been pretty close historically. Roosters have won 6 of the last 10, 11 of the last 20, but Manly have won 15 of the last 29, dating back to 2009. What have you got, Ted?
Yeah, and just to kind of run that theme, the last 12, they've both each covered 6 each between the two. So not taking a lot from the head-to-head. These teams have been playing finals since 1972 against each other. So long history there. Played in probably my favourite finals game ever. Certainly one I attended when the Roosters won 4-0 in 2013 against. It was one of the great games. I think Marlon Tuasek's first year was on a wing. It was fantastic. He might have scored there and tried that game. Not 100% sure there. Good memories from that game, if a little hazy. Again, going back to the top 4 team bouncing back. The Roosters have won 14-21 at Allianz. I don't cover a lot there, but the key here for me is they're 36-25 against the spread against teams 5th or worse. They're 10-4 against the spread for loss, 9-6 against the spread of conceding 30 plus. No real knock on Manly. They've covered 11-4 as an underdog, but they are 9-14 against the spread against top 4 teams. So I'll be with the Roosters here, a good degree of confidence. I really don't rate Manly. I thought Manly were. I don't think Manly were a better team at all on against Canterbury, and yep, they took their chance as well. I also think Turbo's completely busted. He was grabbing that shoulder.
Yeah,
the entire game. Fair play to him. Incredible amount of toughness to show up. He's not the player that's going to win you a game there. Again, love the overs here. Very, very keen on points. Over 7 straight off Rooster for loss. 25-16 when Manly off conceding 22 or more. 16-7 when Manly play top 4 teams. So these teams met in round 21, 34-30 at Allianz. So expecting plenty of points there. And when it comes to tries, I can't go past James Tedesco. He's having one of his better try scoring seasons. I think he scored 8 in his last 10. So he's going very, very well. So I expect the Roosters to win and win well. I'll be backing them, backing 13 plus.
I've just gone back and had a look at Seagulls' season. And while I said earlier, I think the winner of this game could contend for the trophy, including Manly and that. I'd like to retract that statement. They haven't beaten the top 4 team since they beat the Storm 26-20 in round 12.
Might have been an Origin impacted, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah. They lost to the Panthers. They just beat the Cowboys, obviously aren't in top 4. Lost to the Roosters. Obviously got pumped by the Sharks a couple of weeks ago. So, yeah.
I really like the Sea Eagles here. But I agree with Teddy. I think we're going to see plenty of points again. So once again, I'm all over the points, the overs there. But I sure enough from the Sea Eagles, a couple of needles for Tommy. I think he's not at 100%.
He's not at 60%.
I think if they can get 60 or 70% out of him, that'll be enough. I love the way that they fought back against the Bulldogs last weekend without any assistance from officials. I love the set piece scrum move that they did. I thought was fantastic. I think if they've got another 1 or 2 of those up their sleeve.
Well, Grant Atkins is refereeing, so it'll be awarded a try.
Well, yeah, that's too good. I just the injuries that the Roosters have, and I think in the halves, especially. Look, I thought Sandon Smith had a very, very good game last week, but I think they miss Walker big time. So I'm looking for Daly Cherry Evans to control this game and a wee bit of flair in that Manly backline to get them over the line. So I'm happy to take them, even though the trend for top 4 bounce backs is significant. I'm going with the Sea Eagles.
Well, let's get to some betting then. Teddy, we'll start with you. You got $100 to spend how you like it.
All right. I am going.
A lot of ground to make up. I'd just like to remind you.
Well, this is why I'm not tipping winners, because I'm chasing hard. All right. I am going to have I'll get the price for it, but I'm going to have $80 on a we'll call it a double. I'm going to have it on Cronulla to win into the over, 265, into Roosters to win into the over, which will land me at $8.22. Well, 80 on that. I'm going to have 20 on Britain Nakora into anytime into James Tedesco. I'll get your price for that, Paul.
I think he just makes them up anyway. It's fine.
Doesn't matter because the result's 0.
Oh, exactly.
900 to 1. I once thought of very famous. Very early in my gambling career, which was over 2 decades ago. As a gruff old trader there, and we'd been taking top odds all day, and we kept losing. He goes, "Well, you can't eat odds." Exactly. We might have got the best of it. We walked home with nothing in our pocket. We had 2-minute noodles for dinner.
All right, I've got Blake's bets here. Let me just... He has got 2 plays. Sharks Roosters head-to-head, $80 at $2.59. And then he's got a, similar to Teddy, a double-double. He's got Felt and Molitalo to score in the Sharks-Cowboys games, and to Teddy and Dom Young to score in the other game, $20 on at $11.77. I'll go with mine. 2 bets, a 3-leg same-game multi, Sharks minus into Molitalo and Katoa to score, 70 on that at $4.42. And then a double Sharks 13 plus into Roosters 13 plus at $10.23, 30 on that.
Okay, I'm taking 2 bets, 2 multis. The first one, I'm going to take the Cronulla Sharks to win by 13 or more into the Manly Sea Eagles to win by 1-12. $80 on that. That's $3.10 into $3.35. And then I'm going to take a $20 multi. Ronaldo Mulitalo to be the first try scorer and Tommy Talau to be the first try scorer. $20 on that. That comes out at $86.62.
Oh, Panic at the Disco.
Oh, that's great. Promos, Paul.
Yeah. Before we get to them,
Hello.
did anyone else watch the podcast that Munster, Pappenhausen, and Hughes?
I literally just got sent it. It was told it was the best of all time, so I have not seen it.
Munster called up Bellyache live on the podcast. Bellyache didn't know that, so he had him on speakerphone, and he goes, "Oh, what's it going to take to get you on our podcast?" And he goes, "Oh," and he dropped a few F-bombs, so just be aware of that. And he goes, it's going about, who does it, who's on it, oh, well, it depends what happens this week. And this was done last week. He said, depends what happens this week. And Munster goes, what do you mean? Well, if we win or lose. He goes, so if we win, will you come on? He goes, yeah, I'll come on. So they won last week, so it looks like Bellyache's going to be on there. There'll be a few F-bombs. He drops them every, like.
I've got nothing but respect for that. He's a good Central West boy.
Righty-ho. Promotions. Of course, we've got the oval ball mega multi for 4 or more legs, 6 or more legs, 8 or more legs, up to $50 back in bonus cash, 1 per day. So, yeah, you get all the T's and C's. And as there are only 2 games, you're going to have to include some rugby union moment, likely. So
only 2 of the 3 of us endorse that kind of behaviour.
And that is a great place to leave it. Thank you for your time today, as always.
Well, I appreciate Paul giving me the opportunity. I did miss a trick this week. My anger at the officials of the Manly game really left me not firing a shot at rugby union and would hate to have ended that streak. So big thanks to Paul for helping me out right at the death there.
This is, yeah. Are we back next week?
We might be.
No, I'm not.
You're not?
No, I'm not.
What are you doing?
I'm on a boat next week. I'm on a boat around Fiji. So,
okay.
Yeah, forget about
All right.
I thought you were on a boat trying to emigrate to Australia. I was like, we don't. I'm not sure we take you. I'm not sure we're accepting visitors that way anymore.
That'd probably be the only way I got in, Teddy, to be fair.
Have you ever wanted to visit Nauru?
You mean while it's still there? There you go.
Right, we're done. Thank you, punters. We'll be back next week. Some of us will be anyway, to do it all again. Cheers.